Donald Trump could go to jail, but he could also still wind up in the White House. How could today's historic verdict impact the presidential race?
Political reporter Paris Schutz joining us. And Paris, the big question tonight, how strong could the political fallout be?
Scott, Dawn, that is the key question, and the race will likely come down to tens of thousands of voters in 5 or 6 swing states. And we know it'll likely have no impact here in Illinois, as this state is heavily blue and expected to go for Joe Biden regardless. That didn't stop the state's Republican Party chairman Don Tracy from blasting today's New York verdict. Quote, "Let's call this trial what it really is, a political prosecution, the likes of which occurs in banana republics, but not previously in these United States." Governor J.B. Pritzker, who has steadily tried to build a national profile, minced no words on the other side. Quote, "Donald Trump is a racist, a homophobe, a grifter, and a threat to this country. He can now add one more title to his list, a felon. But let me be clear, Donald Trump will never be 47, Pritzker said. From Illinois, Senator Tammy Duckworth, quote, "A few things you could never call President Biden, a twice impeached president, insurrectionist, and now convicted felon. The choice should be clear this November." But will it be clear beyond Illinois? University of Chicago political scientist Will Howell says it comes down to the voter in the middle.
Will there be enough moderates who are undecided now who will take in this piece of information and say, before I was thinking I kind of liked Trump because the economy, at least pre-COVID, was booming, that now think twice about the idea of re-electing a convicted felon? It's an open question.
The race likely hinges on 5 or 6 swing states like Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Arizona.
In the last several elections, those are decided by thousands, tens of thousands of votes. And so it doesn't take many to push the needle one way or the other.
Trump is hoping to push the needle in his favor, already shooting out a fundraising plea to donors claiming he's a political prisoner. The Republican Party will likely keep echoing his attacks on the legal system. Howell says the next 5 months will reveal a lot about the durability of United States democracy.
An open question is whether or not we as a country are now willing to elect a convicted felon to the nation's highest office. That's the big question that looms before us over the coming months.
The other big question, how will this verdict impact Senate and House races, especially those very few House districts that remain that are actual toss-ups? Those candidates are going to have a tough road to hoe. But, most districts, because of redistricting, gerrymandering, are pretty much in one camp or the other. So we know the way they're going to campaign.
The Cook County Sheriff's Department is investigating after human remains were discovered where they weren't supposed to be at the Burr Oak Cemetery. The Sheriff's Office says the bones were found where human remains were previously uncovered as part of that 2009 grave desecration scandal where at least 200 graves were destroyed. You may remember grave sites were being resold to grieving families, and gravediggers were stacking bodies in plots that were already occupied or removing previous remains and burying new bodies in their place. Vashon Edmondson describes how this discovery was made.
As we were leaving, my sister screamed, saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe this." So I turned around and checked on her. And when we looked down on the ground, it looked like a skeleton coming out of the ground. It was the side of a face of a skeleton with teeth still intact and a couple of teeth not intact, but it was all right there on the ground. Looked like it was trying to come up from the ground like some type of horror movie.
The investigation continues, but there is no evidence at this point of foul play or new criminal activity at this time.
The mother and daughter pleaded guilty to a horrible crime, killing a 19-year-old woman and then cutting her baby from her body. Today, the daughter is expected to be sentenced to 30 years in prison, and some say that's not enough. 29-year-old Desiree Figueroa told prosecutors that she would testify against her mother, Clarissa Figueroa, in exchange for the sentence. In 2019, the two lured 19-year-old Marlene Ochoa Lopez to their home by offering free baby clothes. Prosecutors say they strangled her, then cut her baby from her body and put her in a garbage can outside. They say Clarissa Figueroa claimed the baby as her own. The baby lived for 2 months. The victim's husband said in a statement that he could not bear to face Figueroa in court today, calling her a monster. Instead, a victim's statement will be read in court. Clarissa Figueroa got 50 years. Desiree Figueroa is expected to get 30 years. The family says it is not enough for the harm that she has caused. There's been a delay in this hearing, apparently some delays in transporting Desiree Figueroa to the courtroom, but the judge said that she wants that to be her priority and it should get started.
An emotional outpouring tonight from the family of a 5-year-old girl murdered in Chicago this weekend.
Like, she brought life to our life, to outsiders' life, to everybody that met her. She was just a real sweet kid.
Rain Ware was murdered this weekend as she sat in a car on the near west side. A man believed to be her father was also shot. Tonight, her mother, grandmother, and sister all share their grief and called on the entire city to stop the bloodshed.
We need the mayor, we need the alderman, we need you guys to really step up and stop the violence. We need mothers and grandmothers and everybody to take accountability for where your kids are and what they're doing, what guns they have. We need you to pay attention. Somebody have to do something. We need this to stop today. This just can't keep happening. We can't keep hurting each other.
Police said the shots were fired early yesterday morning from a Jeep Cherokee. The family tonight is asking whoever fired them to turn themselves in.
This homeowner declined to speak to us on camera, but he did give us a play-by-play off camera of exactly what happened here, including how these offenders made it inside of his home, actually made it inside 2 of his vehicles, and how he tells us he was forced to shoot at them in order to protect his family as well as his possessions. Here's surveillance of one of the suspects trying to get past a security gate. The masked man eventually entered the family's home through a front door, which the owner says he forgot to lock. The homeowner telling Fox 32, once inside, the thief removed keys to the family's vehicles. The thief then broke out the garage door window, got inside the victim's Ferrari, driving it out of the garage. The homeowner says he and his wife were awakened when they heard their Ferrari engine sound. The father of 5 daughters tells me he eventually grabbed his gun. It happened here in the 400 block of Sheridan Road at 5 this morning. Listen to the shootout from a neighbor's Ring doorbell. The homeowner tells me this was indeed an intense shootout. He says he was within 10 feet from the car thieves. He used this tree to shield himself as they went back and forth. Look at where the bullets hit. There are bullet holes all over. Bullet hole there, a bullet hole there, another bullet hole there, and into this tree. All happened within a couple of minutes. Police say 2 of the offenders got away in an Audi. 1 ran away on foot. Fortunately, no injuries. To hear, though, that there was a shootout between one of your neighbors and these thieves, what do you think about that?
Well, I think it's disturbing. It's disturbing, but we know we have wonderful police protection, and we feel very safe in Winnetka.
Throughout the day, detectives were seen removing evidence from the property. The homeowner's Ferrari and Range Rover now dusted for fingerprints. Police say it was an isolated incident. So if anything, a takeaway is just
lock your doors, lock your cars, and keep your keys off the counter.
And ironically, this homeowner tells us that he had another vehicle that was actually stolen from his home just 2 years ago. Now, police tell us in this instance they are looking for 3 suspects, and they continue to ask for neighbors as well as others in the community to release any surveillance images that they have in this case. Of course, we'll continue to keep you updated on this on air and online. In Winnetka, Nate Rogers.
Demonstrators tell us they will not stop until a resolution is met and say they plan to march on the DNC this summer with or without permits. In addition to a ceasefire, they are demanding the Biden administration stop supplying weapons to Israel.
Israeli war crime!
Protesters expressing new outrage as the Israel-Hamas war intensifies.
There are no safe places in Gaza. The only safe thing right now that needs to happen is Israel needs to get out.
Over the weekend, Israeli shelling and airstrikes in the border city of Rafah took the lives of at least 36 civilians, according to hospital officials and emergency workers. Many of those killed had been displaced and were sheltering in tents.
I cannot imagine being in a situation where my life and my children's life is under threat, thinking that I was in an area that was safe.
Organizers with the Chicago Coalition for Justice in Palestine are condemning the attacks, describing them as a new level of horror.
I live by the ethos known as free until we're all free.
A crowd of protesters at Federal Plaza grew larger as they took their voices to the streets.
A big question people often ask is, if you're not a part of some marginalized group, why do you care so much? And I always look at it as in, if you put yourself in their shoes, would it not hurt you if other people who couldn't identify with you couldn't also show up for it?
Deanna Othman, board member with American Muslims for Palestine, Chicago, tells us her in-laws live in Gaza.
I was recently speaking to my sister-in-law who mentioned that her brother's wife's family was killed in Rafah, and one of them was a mother that was holding her newborn child.
The group marched to Madison and Canal before dispersing for the night, and tomorrow morning, set for 10:45 a.m., the downtown Islamic Center is holding a prayer for Rafah.
There's a lot within the 911 call. In fact, the family of Isaac Goodloe III says that they will use that 911 call as well as dispatch communication in court. They believe, along with their attorney, that it shows Carroll Stream police used excessive and deadly force.
She came to our house screaming and crying. Her eye is black and her lip is busted.
This 911 call is from February 3rd when Isaac Goodloe III allegedly got into an argument that turned physical with his girlfriend. The voice you hear is believed to be that woman's sister.
Okay, are there any weapons involved?
No, I got a weapon though, a stick to bust his head.
The recording between the dispatcher and the woman on the phone lasted close to 3 minutes.
Is he still there?
Yes, he had in the apartment.
Days after the shooting, the family filed this federal civil rights lawsuit. Just last week in the case, a federal judge demanded that the officers involved, Dan Finkston, Nick Janettis, Molly McGovern, Austin McQuart, and Dan Kohler and Sergeant Steve Cadle have their names released to the public. One of them can be heard acknowledging that Goodloe's apartment was locked.
If you try to get a hold of some after-hours person over here to try to get a key, maybe if they have an emergency maintenance number or something.
The family's attorney, Andrew M. Stroth, says the tapes are very revealing.
Show me your hands!
Including this body cam video.
Because they went into a black man's apartment, they knew he was unarmed, and without cause or provocation, they came in with tactical shields. They came in with guns on the finger on the trigger.
It took about 20 minutes for a maintenance man to bring the key, and 10 seconds later, this is what you hear on the recording.
Sorry, 3 got shots fired. Send the medics this way. Shots fired, shots fired.
Details released after the shooting by police says 2 officers discharged their weapons.
The officers didn't have a warrant. They didn't have consent. In less than a second of opening that door, they shot Isaac Goodloe in the heart and killed him.
Now, we did reach out to Carroll Stream today, hoping for a statement on these 911 calls and also the dispatch communication. We have not heard back. What we do know, though, is that the DuPage County State's Attorney Robert Berlin has all of the evidence now in his hands, and the Goodloe family hopes that he brings charges against the officers who pulled the trigger.
We spoke to multiple people in that neighborhood. First, at least 2 women, one witness who said she witnessed this encounter and described the dog involved as unaggressive and friendly. We also at least read reports from the Chicago police officer involved who said she believed that her dog would be killed in a split second if she did not intervene. First, I want to take you back to the scene seconds after this commotion between both dog owners. Listen to what they said.
Shooter! You're taking my dog! You shot my dog! Why? I was pulling her off all time! Oh, you! Why?
She was very friendly and outgoing.
she would always come up to just anybody and just like want to play and want to be touched. So she was never aggressive. She was very nice.
The Civilian Office of Police Accountability say off-duty police officer Carmen Mostek was walking her dog and encountered another dog who had gotten free from his owner's home. That pup named Aggie approached the officer's dog as Aggie's owner attempted to separate them. Copa says shortly after, Mostek shot Aggie in the head as her owner was trying to regain control. Neighbor Crystal Lopez tells us she witnessed the encounter with her 3-year-old daughter standing by. Lopez called the shooting very upsetting and unnecessary.
One thing led to another, and the lady shot the dog in the head as the owner was holding the dog already. It was very scary for my 3-year-old daughter because she was like in shock. She never seen nothing like that before.
But the owner did have...
No, yeah, the owner broke it up, like, okay, like, you know, because the lady was saying get off my dog, and the owner grabbed his dog, which was her Aggie, and she came around the guy and shot the dog in the head.
The ordeal happened near Canal on West 29th Street, April 21st. In a statement, Copa says, quote, based upon the serious nature of this incident, Copa recommends CPD evaluate the current assignment of the officer and whether administrative duties or relief of powers is warranted during the pendency of this investigation. The video also shows the officer running back into her home. She called police and said the pit bull was attacking her corgi. Now, there were no other injuries. Chicago police do tell us that Mostek is an active member of the department. Neighbors tell us the owners were so heartbroken that friends came together to try to purchase another dog for that owner. We do know that Copa continues to investigate this case.
The offender and the victim were shot by police on the west side last night. Police released their statement about it, saying that they were trying to stop a violent attack, but it wound up killing the offender and wounding the victim. Area 4's Special Response Unit was on routine patrol in the 300 block of South Cicero when they saw the offender and victim fighting in the street. Police say they saw one man attempting to stab another. Police ordered the man to put down the weapon, but they say he kept attacking the other man. They discharged their weapons, striking the man with the knife and the victim. The offender died at Mount Sinai Hospital, the victim in critical condition at Stroger Hospital. Many police were sent to the scene as officers rendered aid and requested help.
10-4, I need more units. Cicero and Gladys, we had shots fired by the police. We have EMS en route and a victim stabbed. And again, we had a 10-1 Cicero and Gladys. We had shots fired by the police. We have an offender stabbed. We still had a 10-1 Cicero and Gladys.
The deceased has not been identified yet. The 2 police officers, they were taken to the hospital for observation, and now they are on leave while the Civilian Office of Police Accountability investigates.
Scenes of destruction are just the latest in what has been a historically bad April and May for the Midwest and the Plains states. One of the hardest hit areas appears to be the community of Valley View in Cook County, Texas. That is north of Dallas. A gas station and travel center were torn apart by an apparent tornado there. Hundreds of people were injured. Officials say the strong winds destroyed or severely damaged cars, homes, and businesses in that area.
Power lines were down, trees were down. It's taken a huge effort just to get back in there where most of the damage is.
It was a godsend we weren't home. The neighbor across the street had an RV and it landed on our house. The only part that's standing is where we would have been sheltered.
And sadly, at least 18 people are dead across 4 different states. The system causing the severe weather is expected to move east over the rest of this Memorial Day weekend.
Well, it's a show that promises big excitement and big thrills. And Jose Vasquez is with Circus Vasquez, and you're delivering for us this morning.
Well, they come directly from Colombia. They do the Wheel of Wonder. They're called the Vanegas Brothers. Check this out.
Okay, they're making me nervous. Oh my gosh. One hand?
Do you want to try that?
No, thank you. No, thank you.
Well,
So-
we have a lot of really crazy and amazing acts here at Circus Vasquez, and as you can see, this is not left behind.
I can't take my eyes off of them. But we did see some incredible acrobats. We saw the bone breakers, and those are contortionists. What else do you offer?
Well, it's a family fun experience where we have trapeze artists, acrobats, contortionists, clowns, daredevils, everything that amazes your eye. This is a live show, and it's going to be here in Cicero at the 26th and Costner Avenue until this next June 3rd, which is going to be the Monday. And after here, we're going to be in Schaumburg at the Woodfield Mall starting June 7th. So for more information, y'all can visit our website, which is circusvasquez.com, where you can purchase your tickets and get a little bit of a discount.
We're joined by the people, too. Pause Chicago board member Danielle Kroloff and volunteer Mark Lucas, not to be confused with Mark Lucas, the actor and director.
You can if you like. I'm fine with that. Please send checks to Pause Chicago.
Exactly, right.
Yes.
Maybe he's an animal lover, too. Oh, and speaking of love, who's that giving some love to you?
This is Lola. She's a 4-month-old mixed breed. Lola was actually on the euthanasia list at a shelter partner that we have in Arkansas. Obviously, we stepped in, did not want to see it happen. So this affectionate girl is available at Pause Chicago, and she is one of actually a couple that we have, and this is her roommate.
Yes, this is Havana. She was a part of a litter of 4, also from Arkansas, and Paws rescued her. 2 of her litter mates have already been adopted, so she's ready to go home to her forever home as well. She's about 4 months old, and she's so sweet and cuddly. I'm obsessed.
Savannah is pretty chill, but I love Lola over here because she's got all the energy, too.
She's bringing the warmth today.
Absolutely, and they're both super cute. So tell me, you guys are always on the go, and I hear there's a big event coming up this weekend in the Gold Coast?
It is. It's our Angels with Tails Gold Coast. This is actually, I want to call it a grassroots. This is how we got started. Before there was an adoption center in Lincoln Park, before we had the state-of-the-art medical center in Little Village, our founders, Paul and Alexis Faceas, recognized that there was a euthanasia crisis going on in Chicago back in 1998, and they wanted to find a solution. The first idea they had was to take some of the animals from Animal Care and Control and bring them downtown onto Michigan Avenue and literally introduce them to people on the street so that folks could see how wonderfully amazing and adoptable these animals were. We were so well received that this actually became an annual event that has grown into Pause Chicago. Yeah. So it's happening this Sunday, June 2nd. It's going to be from noon to 4. We actually have 42 shops, boutiques all across downtown Chicago. It's going to be on Michigan Avenue, Chicago, Delaware, State, Rush.
My.
It's a wonderful opportunity to meet dogs and cats. The cats will be inside. It's also a great opportunity for you to do a little bit of shopping. You can complete your summer wardrobe and complete your family by meeting your furry, friendly friend of life.
No, look at the tight shots on these puppies are just too cute. Okay, and when we shop, how is that getting back to you?
Yes, so we're really excited this year. All of the stores that are participating, a lot of them are donating 1% of their proceeds back to Pause Chicago. So you can go shopping on Sunday, you can buy a pint of ice cream from Jenny's, and just by shopping and buying ice cream, you're donating to Pause Chicago and helping homeless pets in Chicagoland. Also, there's going to be a lot of fun activities going on at all of the stores this weekend. So there will be raffles, free dog treats for your pets to come by. Obviously, dogs on display to come meet and pet and get kisses from like these 2. Marc Jacobs is even doing complimentary pet portraits on handbags. So there's a lot of really fun, creative activities going on this weekend. And for a full list of all the stores participating and the map of the Gold Coast and Michigan Avenue area, go to pausechicago.org/angelswithtails.
Oh, they are just full of kisses today. Okay, so let me ask you this. You know, when people do come out, sometimes you can have that spur of the moment. You see the dog, super cute, but maybe you're not thinking through the logistics of like my home. Think through or let us know what we need to think through when we come out to events like this.
Well, you know what? That's what we're there for. We have trained volunteers and staff that prior to the adoption, we're going to talk about what to expect when you bring a cat or dog home, not only behavior-wise, but expense-wise. We're going to walk you through the steps that you expect in the first year, and we're always there for you for the rest of your life with the animal. So we want to make sure that you're prepared. We also want to support you throughout the entire experience, but we do want to be honest with you on what to expect so that you don't do that spur of the moment. And if for any reason something were to happen where you were unable to care for that pet, Paw Chicago always takes back all of our animals, and we guarantee to find them a loving home.
Yeah, we hope that they don't have to come back. You know, I think about the last puppy that I got, which was many years ago. I called the puppy counselor. Don't be ashamed. I called the puppy counselor many times. What does this mean? What is happening? You know, if you need to, ask somebody,
There's
right?
no shame in that game at all.
No shame. No. Let them walk you through the process. Okay, and you hear all the time that you don't pick the pet picks you. Explain that for people.
Yeah, I mean, I have a perfect example. When I adopted my first cat from Paw Chicago, it was just an instant connection. I felt like she truly did pick me. Her name is Jade, and she is truly my soulmate. I love her. So you just feel that instant connection, and you just know that that's the right one.
Yeah. And for these two, what kind of households would you say?
Well, they're each unique. Lola is a bit of a go-getter, so she's going to probably do best with a home with an active lifestyle, where Havana is a little bit more laid back.
She's chill.
Maybe somebody who likes to watch Netflix, have a little bit of wine, enjoy a quiet evening at home.
Lots of cuddles.
Yes, both of them.
Absolutely. And so each week, like I said, we look forward to this time, but we also look forward to the reports about the last pups that we saw. And I hear we have a great one to report today.
Yes.
Nino?
Nino, yeah, that was the last one I had here with you. He was a crazy little funny one. He did get adopted. Also, Jenga got adopted. Yes, there he is.
We are so thankful to you guys and your viewers. You always come through, and we find some of the most wonderful homes thanks to you.
For most vendors, selling beer is a way to make a buck, but for Reggie Duval-Saint, who you see way back there, it's a way of life as he crisscrosses the country chasing a beer vendor's record.
Here we go, folks. Ice cold beer here, folks. Cold beer, guys. Cold beer coming around here.
It's not the biggest crowd of the year at Guaranteed Rate Field, but on his first visit to the ballpark, 36-year-old Reggie Duval-Saint is pushing the product.
Miller Lite, guys, coming up here, folks. Anybody here want one, need one?
And telling customers about his story and his dream.
Actually, this is my first time here at White Sox ever. Yeah, first time at White Sox. So my goal is to be the first beer guy ever to sell beer at every MLB park and every NFL stadium. That's the goal.
Reggie started vending by accident in Florida in 2017, taking a job hawking hot dogs just to get into the baseball All-Star game.
Fell in love with it, and the rest is history. I've been, after that All-Star game, I said to myself, what would it take to get to every ballpark as a food or beer vendor? And I said, let me take on that challenge.
Based out of Philadelphia, Reggie vends around the country 6 or 7 days a week, often working games in different cities on the same day. Tomorrow he'll be in Florida, Thursday a hockey game in New York, and Friday back in Chicago at Wrigley.
The logistics and the planning is probably the most difficult part. The actual vending is the easiest part about it. Like I said, just being with the fans and experiencing the ballparks and stadiums along the way. That's the best part to me.
After checking off Guaranteed Rate Field today, Reggie will have vended in 56 of the 60 MLB and NFL stadiums.
All right, there you go. You're all set.
And all that remains for Reggie are the ballparks in Minnesota, Boston, and Toronto, and the Vikings in football.
I don't know if I'll be able to continue at this pace forever. I understand that and I realize that. But I truly enjoy it, and it's something I always want to do.
Reggie says the toughest nut to crack is going to be vending beer in Toronto because he'll need to get either a work visa or marry somebody from Canada. Good luck.
Riley Cadiz of Park Ridge is officially 4 years old today, and to make her birthday extra special, Levain Bakery in the West Loop went all out. It collaborated with the nonprofit Alex's Lemonade Stand and became Alex's Lemonade Cookie Stand. Alex's Lemonade Stand is a nonprofit that raises money to fight childhood cancer. Today, all proceeds from Levain's lemonade cookies go to help 4-year-old Riley and the Cadiz family in her fight against cancer. Riley has been struggling with leukemia for 2 years. Well, today, the employees wore Team Riley t-shirts saying happy birthday to her and presented her with a cookie cake and her own crown.
Our daughter Riley has been undergoing treatment for leukemia for the last 1.5 years. It's an organization that helps fund research for children with cancer and also who helps families.
Now you can still help out. The bakery is open until 11 o'clock tonight. Scott, you get those lemonade cookies, and if you can't make it there, you can donate by going to the nonprofit's website, alexslemonade.org. Their mission is to change the lives of children with cancer while raising awareness and money for research and empowering their young patients. Alex's Lemonade Stand's foundation's mission is to help as many, not only the children, but also the families involved.
A talented 10-year-old from Naperville could soon have her art on Google's homepage for hundreds of millions to see. Reva Savalia's proudly representing Illinois in the Doodle for Google competition. This is her amazing drawing. I had a lovely chat with Reva and her super proud mom this afternoon. She's heading into 5th grade at Riverwoods Elementary School next year. The theme for this year's competition was My Wish for the Next 25 Years. And Reva's wish is to increase the monarch butterfly population.
Once I learned that the monarch butterfly was endangered, I really wanted to spread awareness about that.
She's loved monarch butterflies since she was a little kid. We've gone to lots of butterfly gardens and really enjoyed doing that. And so we went to the library, we picked up some books on monarchs because she wanted to show them in flight.
I hope that I get to become one of the national finalists and I get enough votes to be one.
And you can help make that happen. You have until June 4th to vote for your favorite. Just go to doodles.google.com/D4G. There it is right there. The national winner, by the way, gets a $55,000 college scholarship. Asked Reva what school she wanted to go to. Yeah, way too soon to be thinking about that. Also, the school gets a $50,000 tech package. Her drawing was amazing, guys. Like, I looked at the rest. I voted for her.
A volcano in southeast Iceland is once again spewing lava into the air. You can see here the lava coming from the erupting volcano. It may seem like it's going that high, but officials there say it reached 160 feet, even though it may not seem like it. This marks the 5th eruption from the same crater in 3 months. This one comes after multiple earthquakes in the area. Iceland's Blue Lagoon, a top tourist attraction, had to be evacuated and still remains closed. We are told this latest eruption warns of a reawakening of the volcanic system that was quiet for nearly 800 years.
We have made our way to East Dundee. We're heating up the kitchen with the fire district here, cooking up a good old-fashioned comfort meal.
We have stepped into the kitchen with firefighter Christina Diana, and we are making her famous crispy chicken orzo today. Why is this such a hit at the firehouse?
So this is such a hit because it is a delicious comfort meal, and even if we have a lot of calls throughout the day, it's really easy to heat up.
Perfect, and it looks pretty easy. I mean, so what's the first step here?
Oh, absolutely. So we went ahead and cut and cleaned the chicken, and then what I like to do is bread my chicken with cornstarch instead of flour, and that's all I did.
Perfect, and let's put it in the pan.
While we wait for the chicken to cook, we pour our orzo pasta into a boiling bath of chicken stock. Next, we start making our creamy sauce by melting butter and tossing in some minced shallots and garlic.
Christina, this smells so good. We're almost done with the magic sauce.
Yes.
So we're gonna pour in this heavy whipping cream?
Yes.
And we're putting in quite a bit.
This is just so enough goes around for the whole table.
Yeah, you know, you gotta make it work. Okay, and then after that, I see we've got some cheese here, right? And some parsley?
Yeah, so the parsley will be our topper, but we could go ahead and add in the cheese.
Perfect.
And it looks like the chicken is almost done. While the food is cooking, I've stepped outside here with Deputy Chief Joe Schwab, and they have a piece of equipment at this department that not many other departments have. Tell us about it.
So this is a Lucas device. It's designed to provide CPR for patients in cardiac arrest.
So basically, you can kind of tend to other things going on while this machine delivers this life-saving procedure.
Absolutely. The machine allows us to do CPR while we're able to do other things like get an airway and IV access.
Pretty awesome. Back in the kitchen, Christina spoons the finished orzo pasta into the cream sauce.
Christina, this dish is so easy, which I absolutely love, being a busy mom. So I have to ask then, when you guys go out to the grocery store, are you spending your own money or does the community provide money for you guys to eat?
No, absolutely. What we do every month is we chip in either $100 or $120 each, and we all pay for our own meals, just because the district, the taxpayers are not paying for our food. So we have to eat, unfortunately. So yeah, we pay for all the meals with our own money.
Well, you guys are doing a really good job making your money go very far.
And she's right on the money with this meal. It is a huge hit.
As always, she never disappoints in her meals, and it's almost like we're eating at a Michelin star restaurant.
All right, tons of people let the music take control today downtown. Now, let the rhythm move you.
Dance hall. South Beach dance hall. Charlie Parker dance hall. All right, give it up for the oldest house band out here, y'all.
Okay, lady in the orange shirt, I see you. Looks like everyone was having a great time at this pop-up event. It was held at Daly Plaza, celebrating 40 years of house music, which originated right here in the Windy City. Chicago natives and international DJ Derek Carter and DJ Heather spun the 1 and 2s. The organizers made sure to show gratitude to the birthplace of the genre.
Thank you to Chicago and all the house heads. To the DJ, we thank you. We say God bless you. House music forever.
All right, now don't sweat it if you missed this party. There's a lot playing in the city this summer to celebrate house music's anniversary. Just go to housemusic40.com for a list of events.
Comedy is hard, but for Asian American Pacific Islanders, becoming a comedian is really tough. Parents typically hope their children will pursue degrees in science or medicine.
When I told my mom, she was like, comedy? You've never made me laugh.
That was definitely the same thing with my dad, who's Chinese Singaporean, and he was definitely like, why are you wasting time on comedy? Like, you should do other things.
The generation gap is universal and plays out in a sketch where a dutiful son tells his mother he is going to the library to study math, but she hears something very different.
Math! I'm gonna be doing math! And I'm not just gonna be doing it either. I'm gonna be making it too, because the stuff on the streets isn't strong enough for me.
There is a secret to making people laugh.
Being able to connect with the audience and know what they're feeling in that moment so that you can know, all right, I'll say this next joke, or I'll say it slowly, or I'll say it in a different way. To modulate yourself based on the environment that you're in, I think that requires empathy.
Being Asian, Jewish, queer, like all of these things are intertwined, and there's reasons why my life has weird, quirky things that happen, you know, because of these things.
I was one of the first Filipinos on main stage, and that felt like such a wonderful responsibility that I felt like I had, because I had never seen someone like me on that stage, and so to be that person on that stage, I got to be a voice for a lot of people.
Second City director Evan Mills helped select the 10 comedians who would learn the Second City style.
Just seeing who had that spark, who made me laugh, who had that energy, who had that stage presence.
Their original show ran at Second City during AAPI month. They titled it Youth in Asia, a play on words, tragedy, and comedy. They had a reputation to live up to. Second City launched the careers of numerous stars. This generation could become the next Margaret Cho, Ali Wong, or Hassan Minhaj.
But I'd love to be able to write for late night, for like Late Show with Stephen Colbert, who's went through Second City.
I would love to tour to do stand-up and work on The Daily Show, you know, maybe write for my own sketch show.
Can't protect you forever,
Mom, you really hurt me. You hurt me.
In art and in life, the parents and children reconcile, learning that ambition and genius can exist in the craft of comedy.
I'm going to transform you into a whole new world here on the north side. We are at Dinos Alive, and take a look at this. You are going to be transformed into a new world. We're at the Exhibition Hub Art Center here in Chicago, and I'm with Ruben Garza. He's Assistant General Manager.
Hi.
What can people expect here at Dinos Alive?
Well, you could expect to travel back in time to a whole different world and be amongst all these new, beautiful dinosaurs, and it's great. It's very.
Do people have the same reaction as I do when they first walk in, like mouth wide open,
People
excited?
are overwhelmed in every way possible. The kids love everything. Just seeing their reactions is priceless.
I love how there's two sections here. So of course you see all the awesome dinosaurs that are moving, like almost like they're real. But there's also a place where you can get your energy out. Tell us about that.
So yeah, once we finish on the dino side, we have another thing called bouncy games, and that's a whole different immersive experience where they could run and play and for an hour or an all day up if they like. And it's very exhausting. We've gone through it ourselves. It's great, but yeah, it's all two different exhibitions in one.
So, I mean, how does it look this real? I mean, when I first came in, I was a little scared, to be honest.
Well,
I mean, it's great and it's so realistic. But how does this process work? How'd you get this here?
So it's a traveling tour. It's all live. It's all animatronics. It's very realistic. It's very immersive. We definitely say, please stay behind the ropes. We don't want to feed the dinosaurs. It's part of the exhibit. It's part of the tour. It's
part of this, exhibit is learning a lot, right? About dinosaurs, about the old world. What are a few things, without giving away too much, that people can learn with their families?
So it's very educational and part of entertainment. They can learn different things. They could walk this self-walk tour. They could scan each frame with a different QR code to get more information about each dinosaur they're seeing. They could learn things in the gift shop. There's different books and things like that they could get into, but there's a lot of information to be learned, as well as a lot of entertainment to see.
And a lot of hands-on experiences. We obviously didn't want to, show too much, but it's really a different experience once you actually get here.
You need to be here to see it and feel it, otherwise it's not the same.
But
I could talk about it all day.
If someone's not a dinosaur lover, they probably will turn into one after being in this location.
Instantly. As soon as you walk in, you fall in love with it.
Okay. This area behind us, it is more of the interactive area,
More
right?
interactive. We call it the kids zone. A little more friendlier in case they have a need to have it calm down once they exit our exhibit. Right here we could do a little
extra excitement, right?
Extra excitement, a little excavation, do a little fossil reveal, and kids love this. They're here a long time. They love every second of it.
If someone wants to come, what do they need to know?
You go to our website, Exhibition Hub Chicago, Dinos Alive Chicago. You can look at our social media. We're open every day, Wednesday through Monday. We're dark on Tuesdays. Hours do fluctuate, but you can definitely check out our website and have all the information there.
I am truly honored to stand here today as a recipient of that liberation. So let's always remember our nation's heroes.
That, of course, Chicago Mayor Brennan Johnson, who on this Memorial Day remembered those soldiers who gave the ultimate sacrifice.
Mayor Johnson spoke during a Memorial Day ceremony in Grant Park this morning. Terrence Lee has more on his message. Terrence?
Yeah, it's got very fitting where the mayor spoke today, too, right in front of the Major General John Alexander Logan Monument, a war hero and political figure. Back in 1868, Logan recommended the creation of Memorial Day. The mayor says the legacy left behind by our service members should never be forgotten.
I pray that our dearly departed brothers and sisters and our friends who gave the full measure of service to our country, that they can rest peacefully with the knowledge that we stand here today proudly because of all of them. And as we pray for those souls, we also pray for the loved ones and service members that they left behind.
This was the 28th year for that event in Grant Park. Scott.
Terrence, thank you. At nearly 98 years young, the man leading Aurora's Memorial Day parade today was embraced by the community, receiving a number of salutes even standing ovations. Dick Miller, Aurora born and raised, enlisting in the Navy after graduating from East Aurora High and serving in World War II. He survived a kamikaze attack on his destroyer, which killed 160 of his fellow sailors.
He is 21-year-old Army Private First Class Brian Myers. He died in September of 1950 while fighting in the Korean War. Private Myers' remains were only identified in February of this year after they were exhumed from the Punch Bowl Cemetery in Hawaii in March of 2019. Today, he was buried at Abraham Lincoln National Cemetery in Elwood, Illinois. Private Myers was from Cobden, Illinois. He served in an infantry unit in Korea. His unidentified remains were recovered from a foxhole in South Korea and brought back to the U.S. A group called the Defense POW MIA Accounting Agency exhumed his remains in 2019 and was able to identify him after a long, thorough process. It involved DNA testing, lab analysis, and locating family members. Today, he was finally laid to rest with the honors he deserved. The Defense POW MIA Accounting Agency is known to play a key role in the process of locating family members of soldiers from World War II, the Korean War, and the Vietnam War.
Negro League stats officially became part of Major League Baseball's record books today. Josh Gibson, a Hall of Famer, was never in the record books till now. Gibson's career batting average, slugging percentage, OPS tops those of Ty Cobb and Babe Ruth. 2,300 Negro League players now with their accomplishments recognized by Major League Baseball.
Now, as Commissioner Manfred said, I hope that these statistics will be a gateway into wanting to learn more about the Negro Leagues. Because let me preface by saying this: you cannot reduce the story of the Negro Leagues to statistics. You just can't.
Batting fourth and playing right field, number 26, Max Kepler.
His deep baritone voice has echoed across multiple arenas and stadiums in Chicago.
It takes time. We're both in a business where rare is the opportunity to do something for the first time. You're always going to be following someone else. Because of that, you're always going to be compared to someone else. So that takes time to be able to make your own mark, as it were, or have your own distinction. It takes time for people to trust you in any job.
That's exactly what legendary PA announcer Gene Honda has built within the Chicago sports community: trust. His voice gracing over Chicago for nearly 4 decades, and it all started with one simple audition tape.
This is 1985.
Okay.
So the way that it was announced was a 1-inch column article in the newspaper that they needed a new PA announcer. I called and said I'd like to apply, and they just said, send us a tape. Sent them a cassette, and a month later I got a call. That was it. For purposes of what we're talking about, no photo, no picture, nothing, just an audio cassette.
Since then, Honda has been the PA announcer for numerous events, ranging from the World Series, the MLB All-Star Game, Stanley Cup, Final Four, and the Frozen Four. How many events have you done?
Oh my God, I don't know. I have no
Give me
idea.
a ballpark number.
So our scoreboard director, who I've known since 1985, gives us a tally at the end of the year, how many games here. And I think I'm crowding 2,700.
Out of all those events, there's one that stands out to Honda.
My first Final Four. I'm sitting there at the Superdome, and I hope this happens to everyone in whatever you choose to do. There has to be some moment where you've always wanted to do something, but then when you get the chance to sit in that chair, you go, wait a minute, and you start questioning yourself. And I swear to you, I happened to look up in the seats and saw my father and sister sitting there, and there was actually a light above where they were sitting, so I could see him very clearly. And he was smiling. And I go, okay, I'm supposed to be here. Now just do your job and move on.
Born and raised on the north side of Chicago in a Japanese-American family, it was Honda's dad who inspired him to get behind the mic.
Your ability to speak in public helps you no matter what job you take. Dad was a good public speaker, and it made him valuable to the company that he worked for. I think he meant take a speech class. Instead, his idiot son went and wandered into a radio station.
Now, he's become the only Asian American PA announcer in pro sports. Despite being the first, Honda says he didn't intend to break barriers.
I never did this to be any kind of symbol. I did it to try to find work. And I got lucky that people kept hiring me. And for that, I'm grateful.
That luck continues today as Honda is the PA announcer for the White Sox, the Blackhawks, DePaul men's basketball, and even Illinois football.
I want to die on a microphone. I have no problem with that. It's not like I'm doing anything that's physically strenuous.
So you want to be doing this for as long as you can?
As long as I can. It's a job, and we're here 80 times a year. But every once in a while you walk in and you remember that not everyone gets to do this every day.
Bears are must-see this season, right? The NFL and HBO agree they're must-see TV, putting the Bears for the first time in franchise history on Hard Knocks. Caleb Williams and the ready-to-win Bears will appear in 5 episodes beginning August 6th, 8 o'clock Chicago time, and streaming every Tuesday through September 3rd. Can't wait. Bears President Kevin Warren, in a statement, said, Hard Knocks training camp with the Chicago Bears will provide our passionate fans across the world the ability to experience this unique and critical time in the history of our franchise. General Manager Ryan Poles added, the 2024 training camp will be big for us in preparation for achieving our season goals, and we look forward to bringing the fans at home along for the journey.
Imani is an educator, and she was supposed to be back to work at Chicago Tech Academy High School this week. Instead, she was stuck on an island. We spoke to her while she was sitting on an airplane Wednesday afternoon.
We're just happy to be on a plane to get somewhere. Like, it's been very traumatizing. Like, I feel like we've been held hostage here for 4 days.
It was supposed to be a long weekend in paradise. Imani Strong enjoying the white sand beaches, crystal clear blue waters of Curacao until she headed for home. American Airlines Flight 572 with an emergency turnaround on Sunday.
We got at least about 45 minutes into the air, and we had to reroute back to Curacao and have an emergency landing due to an engine malfunction.
American Airlines did offer vouchers for transportation, hotel, and food, but Imani says they had to wait in line for 5 hours to get the coupons, and that happened 3 days straight. Imani and the other 200 passengers got their hopes up day after day.
Every day they give us a flight confirmation, they giving us a departure time, and that flight never goes out.
Imani says they did get some help from the U.S. consulate, but never anyone in person from American Airlines helping them escape paradise and get home.
I want my money back. I want someone to recognize what's happening. I want everyone to know what American Airlines has done to us over in Curacao.
Wednesday afternoon, Imani and some of the other stranded passengers boarded a flight to Charlotte. Imani says someday she will go back to Curacao, just not via American Airlines. We cut our talk short when it was finally time for Wheels Up.
I think that's all. I'm just happy to be taking off now. I think I'm going to cry.
Oh, are you taking off right now?
Yes, finally.
Imani was supposed to arrive last night around midnight. We've reached out to American Airlines for comment and have not yet heard back.
Governor Pritzker took a victory lap today. His $53 billion budget passed the House literally as the sun was rising this morning. The plan includes $350 million in new money for public schools across the state, $187 million for the migrant crisis, in addition to $400 million in migrant health care. Paying for it, that'll come from $200 million in new taxes on sports gambling and $526 million in capping the amount of money businesses can write off. The document was passed largely on a party line vote, and today Governor Pritzker said he believes the state is on the right track.
We balanced the budget for 6 years in a row now. We paid down all of our short-term debt. Even outside agencies, credit rating agencies, and the civic committee, civic federation, others that look at what the state is doing, what we've been doing in our administration, say we're in a much better situation now than we've been in many years.
The situation not so rosy for the Bears. The General Assembly did not take up any legislation related to public funding for a new domed lakefront stadium. Senate President Don Harmon explains why the Bears failed to move the ball.
There's really no appetite to put public taxpayer dollars into sports stadiums
benefiting billion-dollar franchises. And to date, no one has made a compelling argument that this is good for the city or good for the state, and not just good for the Bears or the White Sox.
Licking their paws, the Bears issued this statement today, quote, "We look forward to continuing to meet with elected officials, community leaders, business leaders, residents, and fans to collaborate on ways to make this massive economic development project for Illinois a reality." Any further action on a Bears stadium will have to wait at least until the fall, when lawmakers come back for their veto session and bills require a 2/3 majority to pass.